We are brought to you in part by the Union Street in Berwick, Nova Scotia. Recorded live here in the Annapolis Valley, this podcast is lucky enough to be on the stage of one of the country's best venues and restaurants. It has a long, lovely history of being family-owned, even has its own best-selling cookbook. Holy frig, that's unique. And did I mention it's an incredible venue? Like the best sound for your money anywhere. Suck it, Massey Hall. I said it, but that's me, not Union Street saying that. Back to them. They're incredible. Come there sometime. Come down sometime. I'll probably be there at the end of the bar talking about Massey Hall. Let's chat. Okay, successful sponsor ad, right? Welcome, everybody, to the Friendly Heckler podcast. I'm your host, Zakary Miller, and I'm just doing this thing because I love it. I love it, friends. I have lots of musical friends to interview, so I'm just trying to get through them all as fast as possible. So thank you for tuning in and supporting this thing. With your support, I can keep going and get through lots of interviews and expose more artists to the world. But I'm not doing this thing to toot my own trumpet like every other cis white male with a podcast, it seems. But I just want to be a sounding board to most of the artists I know because it seems like they all have so much to say and they all offer crazy different perspectives. Crazy sometimes, and their life experiences shape those perspectives, you know? So I want to create a space for all of that to mingle, to giggle, to get along, for people to create, and a safe space for people to talk about things that artists don't really get to talk about usually, or even just giggle through the night and talk to an audience and see what live audiences are like sometimes. So thank you for listening and sharing this with your friends, family, everybody. It's been a huge help in getting the word out about all these artists, but also this wacky space and live show thing. So thank you for being part of it all. Which makes me think I should mention some upcoming dates. Upcoming dates: Factory Girls, September 21st at the Ross Creek Annex in Canning, NS. Stephen Fearing, October 1st at the Spoken Note in Falmouth, NS. Jenny Burkle, October 17th at the Union Street in Berwick, NS. That's right, folks. That's my best radio announcer voice to give you those live dates. So get your tickets early, get your reservations in early. You can find me at thefriendlyheckler@gmail.com if you want more information up front. I'll be personal with you. Or just look up my website, zakarymiller.com, and you can find more information about the podcast, live dates, all that stuff, just stuff about me. If you want to listen to my music, too, don't do that. This is about the artist. Remember, I said I wouldn't toot my own horn, which brings me to this month's artist, Corey Isenor. Fascinating dude. I know him because when I first moved to Nova Scotia, the very first house show I decided to go to because of a cool poster I saw, thanks to Laura McDonald of Deep Hollow Print. Hey now, the very first show I wanted to go to was Corey Isenor's. I saw his name on the poster, cool poster. We went to the house show at Laura's house and fell in love with this guy's music. It turns out I just started seeing him at shows everywhere. He ended up taking photos at shows, and I started having to mug for those photos and look good in Corey's shots and get used to somebody I didn't really know at the time right up in my face, but that was a great way to get to know this fantastic, interesting, fascinating dude. Our connection, seeing him play, was just amazing, so I wanted to share his music with the world because he won't do it. He's so humble. He just doesn't get out much, I feel like, you know? So this guy deserves some attention. He does photography, and it's unbelievable. He's got this beautifully tinted view of the world like I've never heard anybody talk about before. I'm so into Corey's photography. You have to look it up. We're going to talk about it, obviously. He plays some new material. Oh, man, it's beautiful. I love this guy's song, so I had a lot to friendly heckle him for, but the new material's awesome, too. And then his brain is so diverse that he also runs a meme account on Instagram called The.Corey.Hotline, and it's a Simpsons Meme account. So he's connected to everyone from actual Simpsons writers to just like huge fans of The Simpsons message him all the time about this. It's unbelievable, these memes. So you got to look this up too while we talk about it. He is a well of Simpsons references, so I had to give him some trivia. We break it down. He survived. He only got, I think, one question wrong, but that's up to you to search up. Look up all the facts on these ones. He really makes up for it because he's just like unbelievable with his deep cut knowledge. So don't test this man, but look up his meme account while we're talking about it. The.Corey.Hotline. So check out my interview with Corey Isenor.
Corey Isenor! That's it. That's your intro. Where are you gonna go?
Lady slipper, orchid of the wood, I haunt you more than I ever knew I could, but I knew I shouldn't. Pluck the petal and drink the fluid. God-fearing man of the aftermath, you must be searching for a new path to wander astray. Another needle in the hay. Why try to find you? Mistress woman, giver of the flesh, I hold you higher than the best of what is yet to come. A new name on the tip of my tongue. Old shadows that I thought I'd lost have returned. Debt collecting all the light that shines on you. The black hole of a personal view. Why try to find you? I shortened it a little bit for you because there's basically it goes on for another minute and a half in the recorded version.
That section's so beautiful in the recorded version
Oh,
because
thank
you
you.
let Liam kind of go crazy, right? Mm-hmm. Liam,
But I
Fryer,
feel Liam Fryer
incredible guitarist
of the Fryer Department.
the local Fryer department.
That's what they
good.
refer to themselves, them the family.
No, that's really.
They have a little family radio program now on a community radio station that started on the South Shore that's just internet-based only, but they call it the Fryer Department. And
That's
it's like
so cool.
All five of them go into the radio station and just put together a show.
And just DJ, or are they playing
They
live
DJ,
too?
but then they're also like, well, no, I think they edit all of the jokes out afterward because they're just
Oh, that's too bad.
they're not suitable.
Liam's so great though, and you guys are great musical companions because that section I've seen you do it live. I've heard the recording, and I feel like it's always got a bit of a jazz to it. It's always a little different.
It's pretty jazzy.
Oh, it goes too. And
I don't know what
builds
I'm
up.
doing. I just sort of, it's all intuition.
Did you ever take guitar lessons?
No.
No, you taught yourself all of this, and that's standard tuning you're playing in, right?
Right now, but it is a full step down on this guitar, so it's a lot lower.
So that's a
frequency.
D string,
Yeah.
a G string. I'll stop there, but yes, everything's a full.
Because you
step
got to
down.
G string, and that was too provocative.
yes, I was
you didn't
way
want to go
too-
any further than that.
No, I don't want to curse.
Most people
this
don't go
podcast.
further than the G string.
I think that's the first time I've said G string on this podcast.
no.
So, yes.
We've got the rest of the alphabet to go.
Well, I'll snap it throughout the night, and that way it's really inappropriate.
It's a D string on the top and the bottom, if you didn't know that.
Nice.
2 strings are tuned the same in the guitar.
Wow, that is standard tuning.
That's what
then.
they say.
Okay. Well, okay. So why do you tune down a full step?
It started when I lived in a house for a year without basically, we didn't have to pay rent, so we were going to try to keep our money as much as we can. So our heating bill was limited to it was electrical baseboards, but then we were like, oh, we'll just do little fires, because I was living in Lunenburg at the time, and we had some wood stoves in the home.
Okay.
So I tuned the guitars all down a full step because I didn't want to put stress on the wood because the room was too cold. And then when I started playing it, I was like, oh, this register is amazing, and it really suits my voice. And I think my whole life, I always imagined that singing meant that you went up high in a registered. And only now, at this point when I'm 36, I'm like, oh, I'm a low talker. I have a low register. I should actually start playing and singing in lower registers. So
you can still dip up though, even in that song. You can...
Because I started really high, I think now that I've gotten to the point where I've learned to sing really high, but it's not maybe the natural butteriness of my voice is it's like the outside of what normally would more people appreciate.
More people would appreciate. I love that you're.
I don't have a sultry high voice, but a low voice is what people are like.
Me?
Yeah, we want to hear the low. Why
Yes,
not?
give me some Barry White. Over
So that's
some
what I'm
beautiful
slowly
jazzy
moving
guitar.
towards, where it's like lower songs, singing
Then
lower.
how did you figure out these chord voicings? Then?
Random, totally random. I don't know.
Seriously.
Yeah. Most of the time, it's like experimenting because I'm just sort of like, what does this chord sound like? And half of the time, it is just sort of it's intuitive through me playing through different things and thinking, oh, I want it to sound like this, maybe, or otherwise it's.
So you're just dropping fingers as you go and seeing.
Sometimes,
what
and just playing around, and it seems childish because it's like the opposite of like how most, I guess, people who know how to play guitar maybe write a song. But I do the same thing with photography, and it's right now it's the idea, I guess, where it's like I don't really always have things to say, or I don't think I know I have things to say. I prefer to explore. So in the playing guitar or the photography, it's like I like to going out and capturing things, maybe coming up with a narrative afterward, but as opposed to like approaching a situation and saying, I know what I'm going to do about it. Then you just set yourself up a disappointment, but you also don't get
That's true.
You don't get as much of a kind of like appreciation for like whatever happens is valuable regardless of what the outcome is.
Do you feel resistant to the rules then whatsoever? Like you don't
Sometimes,
want to learn
a lot of the
theory?
time, because I'm like, we only live once? What are these fucking rules? Sorry, can I swear on this podcast?
Yes, you can. Don't worry, you can say whatever you want.
This is the first podcast I've ever been on.
Are you serious?
Yeah, not the first stage.
Wow.
We're on a stage right now,
it's
too,
an honor.
listeners.
Then cheers.
Thank you.
That's such an honor, pal. Well, honestly, I've said this to like 5 of the guests out of 13 episodes probably, but you are actually one of the reasons I started this podcast.
Which is weird.
It's my first show. When we moved to the Valley, we saw a poster up at the Rolled Out. Fran and I moved to Grand Prairie, and we went into the Rolled Out, and we saw a cool poster, and we went. I took a photo of it on my phone, and I said, "We got to go to this. It looks really cool. Who's this Corey J. Eisner guy?
Yes.
We got to see him."
Yes.
And of course, the poster was printed by Laura McDonald.
Yeah.
And I think you had designed it, and then maybe she printed it and put it out.
Maybe.
Or
I mean, her
vice
talents,
versa.
sometimes it's, she does them as well.
You guys combined forces a couple times.
But when the Rolled Out was the Rolled Out.
Rolled Out.
Well, that's the other sort of like growing up in the Maritimes, I've slowly conditioned myself not to say like coach or tour or
Rolled Out.
or oat.
Okay.
So I was like, so I was going to say rolled out. And I was like, you can't say rolled out. It's
and
rolled
then you
out.
made it sound like New England. Rolled out.
Rally out.
Roll it out then, man. Yeah.
But that was like a versioning little music stage, and so there was a couple of shows I played probably where I did make the poster, but then also where Laura made the poster.
Cool. And then that was for a house show at her house, too.
That's what that was that show.
That was that show.
That
it
was a fun show.
Just you and Liam, I think.
Was it just the two of us, or was it when we played as a band in her print shop?
It was just the two of you.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, the print shop came much later because.
Oh, this is an early show.
This was when
You're
she
right.
lived in Gaspereau.
You lived here for a long time.
Well, 6 years, I guess. 6, 7. Is that long now? COVID just made it seem like 40 years when it happened in between.
It's like it's a dark association. But whenever people are like, "Oh, oh, that's 7 in dog years or something. I was like, they only live for 7 years?
No!
It's like, that's it.
I
was like, you've lived your whole dog's life. I was like, that's not
proudly.
That's not what it means.
Proudly. Well, I haven't had to bury him yet, but no, I had a dog for a week.
You wouldn't cremate it? You're gonna bury something?
No, yeah. If I'm gonna own a property in Nova Scotia,
you're
I'm gonna
burying
have my
everything.
own pet cemetery.
Okay.
And I'm gonna be buried on the property.
So long as you feed those animals healthily, then I don't care.
Definitely.
I don't put poison animals in.
No. Oh my God. What do you think this is? The Burbs? No, man. We're not those freaky neighbors on the mountain.
Well, I grew up with a wood stove. It was like my dad's. He was just burn everything. That was basically it. We didn't burn animals, but certainly the garbage. If it was like paper-based garbage.
My neighbors burn their like bones from pork chops and stuff like
For
that.
sure.
I thought that was pretty slick.
There was like a variety of compost that the chickens wouldn't eat. It would just go into the fire.
So you grew up in Enfield, you were telling me, and you guys still had chickens and wood stove, and because Enfield's a town.
I just like the sentence "still had them," as though like society was like, you don't need those anymore.
They're banished.
They're in the stores.
Yeah, no, leave them in the valley where they belong.
Then. I did. Yeah.
Well, okay.
They were hobby farmer parents, and they were like, we're not gonna pay to buy food to raise kids. They were like, we'll grow most of it most of the time. So it was chickens, turkeys, pigs, pigeons were just there, and then the older we got. And the harder it was to like keep the maintenance of like the full size farm. It was like we eventually downsized to chickens, and now they don't have chickens at all.
Nice. And now it's just hobbies.
Now it's just gardening, full on gardens.
Yeah, that's perfect. And you didn't want to take over the farm?
Not the property, no, because it was arguably just a hobby farm.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
You got to keep those fingers for
wasn't
guitar
a standard.
too. You can't risk tractor accidents with those beautiful fingers.
They're rough fingers.
They're well callous.
You callous them playing guitar. It's the opposite.
Oh, yeah, but you're not getting like dirt and grime into every groove in your hand when you're farming.
I'm a particular person when it comes to cleaning my fingernails, so it is a very hard situation when digging in the dirt all the time and then being like, my fingers are dirty.
I have to play later. Do you are you the kind of guitarist who brings clippers around with you? Nail clippers?
Not for shows, but I file my nails pretty like consistently because they either flake. Maybe I don't have enough gelatin in my diet.
Okay. Yeah,
or I'm just playing. I don't know because it's like I can't make them hard. Like I've tried putting clear coat on it before, which is like the hardener. Yeah. That just flakes off. That's not really a hardener.
Then you're a mutant, dude. You've got X-Men blood.
X-Men blood.
For sure. If it's flaking off of you.
The nails, they don't stand up. And
your nails are made of unobtainium.
Because I've seen like Dan Romano in his early like. Sleep Beneath the Willow days, watching him perform live, his nails were extremely long, and I had no idea how he'd keep them that long because I was like, "You're playing with the nails. Shouldn't they just be destroyed under the metal?" But
were they fake?
Don't know.
Did he have them baked on at one of those?
Well, can you get baked on guitar playing fingernails?
Oh yeah,
that are stronger than your own fingernails.
They put things on salons on your fingers where you have to get it baked on. You have to leave it on there for like 45 minutes. It's gelling or something like that.
I just like the idea that you could.
It's acrylic, and then you have to get it removed chemically or with this heater.
But are you saying like finger pickers are going in and getting their nails done because of that? Because I will also do that if that's what I get out of it.
If it's going to improve
nails.
my career, I'll do it.
If it's just going to improve my my resolution with my own fingernails.
I'm pretty sure to be approved for several of the grants in this province right now, you actually have to get fake nails put on, acrylic nails to prove.
They won't even give you enough money to pay for those. That's
how much it is.
Exactly. Yeah. It's so expensive.
Yeah, I go to the best salon.
So long as you're going to spend at least $4,000 on your nails, we'll give you $1,500.
That's what it is.
That's the argument.
But show us that you have enough followers to show the nails off to before we guarantee the money.
Yeah, exactly. Have you done nails before?
Yeah. No. You've had to jump through those kind of hoops though to get albums done, and it was successful for you. You've produced a couple albums.
It's hard to know now. Like in terms of living in weird fringes, it's like society is always changing. So it's funny that we try to like pinpoint little times that like make us significant versus like everything
like
always changes. Like an album?
Yeah, like what?
Well, that's like personal representation, but in my mind, sort of like the success of being able to play music and sell it, like we were born just too late, almost at a point where like making money off of merchandise was slowly fading out because novelty of access was taking over, and like at a point now, it's like I agree that people who want to make money and can make money from music
can like work in the game of business, but it seems like most of the time it's like, so many of the grants are focused on business sides of things as opposed to like the idea of, and there are other like Arts Nova Scotia or Factor, or like they're sort of businessy, but it depends then on like how much money or how much you devote yourself to the career of making a lifestyle, but it's like, it'd be nice if you could just artistically prove that like you love something without ever having to bring money into it. But when you're asking for money, they want to know that you spend money.
Can I ask, when you've applied for these sort of things, have you sort of had all the songs written and you're ready, or have you sort of applied and then been like, I gotta come up with something?
No, I've always had the stuff figured out first, and then it's mostly just like I want to pay for all the musicians and the engineering, and that's really all it is. Like I've never thought about getting money to write an album, or I've never also thought about like music as being the focus enough that I would curate my life around it, because I do other things.
Yes, and that's just how your brain works, right? That's not just like
you've
never
basically
been like turned down enough that you're like, I'm never gonna.
Sometimes it seems like the people in the Maritimes that also enjoy like whatever amount of success, or if you're looking for some sort of stability, it's like you end up doing multiple things to provide finance, but also like mentally you're just keeping yourself entertained.
yeah, that's true. There's winter still.
So a lot of the time it's like, well, I don't know if I want to commit to music in that way, so I don't know if I can ever access those, like I just don't know if I'm actually the kind of person that fits into any of those demographics. And I'm also just like a white male now, so it's not really about me getting anything.
Nobody
necessarily
should be interested in us anymore.
Well, they can be, but at the same time, it's like I am competing with arguably everybody equally now.
Oh, damn it!
I know, it's so unfortunate, but it kind of no. But the reality is then that means you don't. You don't get, before you did, and now you don't. That's what it is. That's white privilege.
I'm totally one of those people who's like, that's fine. That's fine.
Well, I've just accepted the point of like, maybe you're not you shouldn't be actually applying for these grants sometimes. As opposed to, it's like, why bother when it's not even necessarily.
But that's also a council's job. That's also someone else's job to decide who at the time is right for the moment and what is the ether in the air.
Because the other side of my brain is telling me that like, most of the time, grants and organizations within a province or a country should be funding people to stay, to create those, like, the culture of where you live makes you unique, regardless of where you're from. So investing money in people staying here and developing a scene seems more important to me than the idea of, like, exporting you to be successful in the rest of the world. But we have such a small town, or, like, Nova Scotia, the idea of, like, the inferiority complex dominates Canada, if not Nova Scotia, where it's like, we're American too! We're not, but that's what we want.
That's the music they want to push a lot of the time, too.
So in my head, I was like, I would also just like to be... It'd be nice to have access to money just to make music, to make it, and stay in Nova Scotia and just be a musician.
But
that's, I think, a silly dream.
That are Nova Scotian, though. You write songs that capture certain areas and certain feelings. Like, actually, one of the first songs that I remember someone requesting you to play was Towers and Windmill.
Oh, yeah.
Towers and Windmill.
Pretty regional.
And somebody told me the story of it behind it before I even heard you play it. So.
And the story... I would, like, in terms of that song, it's also amusing to me because it came from, like, listening to an interview on the radio of a former artist who I had known living in Sackville, New Brunswick, who was doing a project about the towers, the radio towers on the dikes in the marshlands between Sackville and New Brunswick, basically being torn down because they were just sort of out of commission now. They were CBC radio towers from, I think, the First World War, and weren't being used anymore in that capacity.
Okay.
And... so it was a story that was on the radio, and I had lived in Sackville, New Brunswick for 6 years, so I was sort of like visually connected to that idea, but I was living in La Have at the time when I heard the radio story, so I ended up just writing the song like on the spot that afternoon. I was like, And then I decided to kind of like create a rough version and put it up on SoundCloud, I think, and then shared it on Facebook because I was just connected to the story, and I was like, I ended up writing this song about this thing, and it was like the weird thing where I never do that. I never like hear something, respond to it, share it.
Yeah.
But it went from that to like somebody saw it from CBC and then they played it on the radio.
Oh, wow.
So other people heard that demo version of From Towers to Windmills like within 24 hours of me writing it and recording a shitty version. But like way more success out of the connection between that whole story with an audience versus the whole back like stage effort of like recording, paying for money, doing all the things, promoting the album. This was like the exact opposite.
The demo meant
it was
more
a weird
of
it was a weird validation of social media, but at the same time it was like not the song was forgotten afterward. It continued, and you're right, like it resonated with you. You heard a different version.
Well, Mount A students, a Mount A student is the one who told me about it. So to other people who had been through that area, even momentarily, they were like, "Oh, there's a great song about this."
Yeah.
this area, and visually it meant a lot to them too. So that was off of album Painted Portrait in the Classic Ruse.
Yes, it was.
Nice.
Yeah, I think it's the last
that's
track.
the album I was introduced to you.
The second last track.
I love that album.
My country album of sorts. That's what I
That's
refer
your
to
country record.
Yeah, basically, it seemed
you
like
got
the
some dobro
when I
on.
really dug into the sound enough, but at the same time, I'm comfortable enough in the songwriting. I think that I was content with the style of the songs. Like Hollow Body before that is also very country, but it's also me just kind of being, I think, like an interpreter or kind of being a little cliche with the style. And by the
Right.
time Painted Portrait came around, I was being like authentic or sincere with my songs.
True, your voice is very different between the two. I could see that.
And then
You've got
after
a lot
that,
more
it's
melody
like
almost.
I see albums kind of develop like that for me occasionally, where it's like one's real, and then the next one's kind of like figuring it out, and then after that it's a real again, and then
Yeah.
it's figuring it out. And most of the time, I just put albums to kind of like exercise, like
Your brain?
well, just the idea of like and the music, like right, like for
Okay.
me, I'm like, oh, I'll have an album that's really good in the way that like somebody was really good when they were 20 when I'm 50, and it's like,
I
but that's
see.
just it's the version of like you can be really good and authentically talented as a child and just put it out there, or you can learn how to be really good over a long period of time. And in the end, I think they're both equal, but you get to them at different points.
Yeah, well, and I don't think anybody's supposed to do it one way or the other. I feel like you end up there. But
Yeah,
I
it's
want
nice
to
to be-
use one song out of that album as a great example of that because I think you did hit your stride writing-wise on this song.
Yeah.
To me, Navy Blues, you
loves it.
friggin' nailed it. So I love Zip I needs me a feed
I
in Navy
loves it.
Blues. In the words of the great Ryan Stanley, I needs me a feed by.
And it's
So-
true, and that was a song that I also like recognized as being, oh, this holds up pretty well. And then like, it was funny, I think, because I've listened to a lot of like other podcasts about music and musicians and writing, and a lot of the time they really cherish the idea of just like being in the moment and channeling things sometimes. And other people are like, you work hard, you get lucky, and like you work yourself through it. And I've oddly had more success out of the songs that come out of like spontaneous moments than me sort of like challenging myself, which is odd though because I don't consider myself to have a natural talent. So it's weird that even spontaneously that would still produce a better song sometimes than me like sitting down and thinking that I've learned something from it. It's like
I
it's
love that you're
weird.
like, why are you choosing me, Muse? Why me?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Because that came out of literally being at home in La Havre, and like Jenna Barry had come over one day because she was close friends with myself and my roommate, and she was like fully dressed in navy, and I was like, oh, you've got the navy blues, and like I said that, and then as I said it, I was like, oh, that's probably enough of a song phrase.
That's
And I didn't
amazing.
already realize that there were other songs that had the title in
Did
different
you?
genres.
Oh, well, of course.
I was
Yeah.
like, of course this has to be.
You know, it's actually the Halifax Navy took it as their theme song.
They should.
Yeah, they stand.
Yeah, that would be an
at guard
interesting
to it.
association because it's a pretty sad song.
I know. Yes. Well, you know. Actually, did you stand there when Jenna was wearing all blue and just say like, "Will you sing backups on the song that I just
No,
came
no.
up with?"
I think I like kept it secret and then eventually like revealed it and then eventually was like, yeah.
Oh,
But
okay.
she was nice enough from the Hollow Body album that we'd already have a relationship recording with.
Okay,
So I
good.
wasn't as intimidated by that point. But I felt better because I was like, these songs are actually good.
And you sang on the bad ones. So.
You sang on the bad ones, and these ones
Okay.
are actually, I think you might. And like that one, I think, and there's a similarity to that one with like Fairy Tale, which involves like Steve Chapin of the Ovens Park, and just a similar sort of like very not comfortable, but like very relaxed approach to like a song in my head when I was writing it. I wasn't thinking like I have to write. It just kind of came naturally, sort of processed itself.
It's a game.
And then the people in the area made it work, and now people
Yeah.
are like, but yeah, there's definitely songs on an album where it was like I hit a stride and was comfortable, and
Man, I can see
appreciate-
you
thank you
reaching
that-
for your drink like 6 times in that sentence. And I just want to say, go
it's like
for
sipping juice. I love
it.
juice.
I know it's wonderful juice that you're sipping. I just want to, I want to make you comfortable because I could feel that you're like, wait, I don't want to.
Well, I
Don't
I
worry.
think I talk too much most of the time, but I never know.
Me
And
too,
then-
that's
and,
why-
and it's always after the fact if I do know, and then I'm also like laughing at myself about, oh, you talk too much. That was funny. And you're like, do you think that was annoying? Do you think that was like, oh, Corey, just talking too much?
You are lighting a dumpster fire everywhere you go, and that you're
yeah,
just,
but it's contained. It's a dumpster.
okay. I'm gonna friendly heckle you again. This is the second time to play the Navy Blues
Yes.
for me, please.
Yes, I will. I'll be happy to. Now that you know the story. Now that we all know the story.
I've got the navy blues, been hanging around with those darker hues, blending in the shadows of the pine trees in the meadow on a harvest moon. I've got the navy blues, shades of sorrow within my shoes, and the skies are always beaming the colors I am dreaming of changing to. I need a fire red, golden yellow, or an emerald green to warm my bed and bring back a little color to this two-tone scene. I've got the navy blues, a painted portrait of the classic rooms, one where I'm mistaken for a lover who's forsaken to always lose. I've got the navy blues, dressed in denim to only confuse, with a palette of a joker and the smile of a smoker. I play the fool. I need a fire red, golden yellow, or an emerald green to warm my bed and bring back a little color to this two-tone scene. La 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 na 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 na. I've got the navy blues, but I feel a change coming if I choose. Could be royal or a baby, midnight or just maybe something new. Thank you. Oh, thank you very much. A little country.
Perfectly country, but also
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I actually even know. But yeah.
What blues did you hear before writing that? What were you into when you started writing that?
At the time, probably a bunch of Crosby, Stills, and Nash, because I was I was remembering like records that I was acquiring at the time, and like Deja Vu by Crosby, Stills, and Nash was in there.
Yeah.
But then I also had Oscar Peterson. But then I also had like the Newport Folk Fest. I think like which album is that? There's a bunch. Like, I'm actually a person who never grew up listening to blues, and then thinking about the title, it's like, it's not even a blues, it's a country.
It's really...
It's already
what
funny.
What genre do you call what you play, actually? That's a good... I feel like I've asked you this before, but what do you fill out?
I don't know, because sometimes I wonder if what I'm playing is challenging to a listener. Because to me, again, going back to the idea of, like, it's palatable. I'm not making noise.
You're so hard on your own music.
But at the same time, it's amusing to me that it would be considered fringe outside of like what is a typical, like, you know, like, and in my mind, I'm sort of like amused by that, I guess, because I don't know what it is. But I can't imagine it's that challenging. It's so soft.
Well, you're right. It's extremely palatable, but it's like, but it is aggressively changing each of those palettes. I feel like, like you're adding these vocal spins and these guitar progressions that are just like not standard. Yeah, and so that's why I love it.
Well, I think it comes because I don't know anything. I only know what I only know what I listen to and what I think I know I like. But a lot of the time, if my subconscious is ruling the game when it comes to writing the songs.
So do you just fill anything. Out when they say genre? Do you just say ignorance?
I don't know. It changes half of the time. Yeah, mostly.
Just plead.
Because like I love that there's a genre called singer-songwriter where we gave up on names for styles and we're like, oh, you just make the song. That's a genre. You're like everybody who ever made a song is a singer-songwriter.
I play notes and chords. No. That's what I'm into.
No. So it's like half of the time I guess I'm a singer-songwriter, but it's like, but that just means folk half of the time. But then it's not. It's sort of like pop, sort of
Yeah.
cafe. I don't know.
You should apply to Jazz Fest. Have you ever applied to Jazz Fest?
No, because in my head I'm like, you're not jazz.
I know.
You don't know anything about.
I was actually told
doing.
by somebody kind of on the inside, like, oh, if you have horns, then you're in. So it's like you could play whatever you want as long as you have at least one horn player.
Because I've got a new song now where it was like, and it's like it came out of like, and these records, I was like, these are too jazzy, but the song is pretty heavy. And I was like, what are you doing? Like, why are you doing this to the audience? Like, why are you, where it's like. And it was like, in my head, I was like, I don't know what the chords are, and I'm just playing them, but at the same time, I was like, it's too much, Corey. But it's like,
How are you going to tease me with that and not give me the full song? Do you not want to play any new stuff? I know you're
No, I
working
can.
on-
I'm happy to play whatever you want.
I want to hear something new.
I'm just amused because in my head, you're right. Like, this is another song that's new, and it will be on the next album, but it's also a song that is outside of what I would normally ever play.
That's awesome.
And so I don't know how to describe it because I don't know what it sounds like.
Genreless.
It sort of is.
I'm with you. Let's just
I can play it
filling
for you
out
if you want to hear
genres,
it, and then you
please.
can give me your interpretation.
What? Yeah, what's it called?
The title we're going with is Randomly Predictable. Which I was like, that's funny too. Oh yeah, and the way we counted it, I was like, 1, 2, 3, 4, chicka.
Philosophical, old scenario. Every molecule moves in stereo with no free will. Maybe we don't need this life. Maybe we don't own this life. New anomalies, autobiographies, rebel wannabes, muse on mimicking the monarchy. Maybe we don't need this life. Maybe we don't own this life at all. So where all I fall, randomly predictable, consult the crystal ball. Like a fly on the wall, left with a right brain wake-up call. Passing on the pages of protocol. A phenomena through millennia, party politics, 99% invisible. Maybe we don't need this life. Maybe we don't own this life. Our autonomy in this economy, pop psychology preaches the antidote constantly. Maybe we don't need this life. Maybe we don't own this life at all. So where all I fall, randomly predictable, consult the crystal ball. Like a fly on the wall, left with a right brain wake-up call. Passing on the pages of protocol. Like, what is that?
Wow. Hey, what is that? It's somewhere
Thank you.
between like the Smashing Pumpkins and Bebel Gilberto.
Okay.
Yeah. It's right in the middle there.
So I enjoy the idea that I can still be making music that is something that people haven't heard, because it still seems like it's something that people are like, what? And like at the same time, I'm surprised though, because I guess I trip over myself a lot of the time thinking like, you're not doing enough. And then I realize I'm way too ahead of what other
Like
people
you're not
are,
doing
like,
enough within the genre or within
or with myself. Like you haven't reached a potential. And then other times I'm like, oh, I'm also out of sightline from certain people. Like I need to slow down. I need to touch base.
Why? So that those people can see you? Those people who look...
Because we all want to be seen. We
a
all want to
minute?
be seen.
The people who just stare with their mouth open agape for 10 days
At this
straight.
point, I'm playing and writing with my friends, so it's slowly seeping out that it doesn't matter, obviously. The audience is not. It's totally for us half of the time.
Yeah, but...
And Liam, who studied guitar at Saint FX, so he knows what I'm doing, and he's the interpreter for the band. It's basically like he's signing for me, but he's playing the guitar for everybody else that
magic
can.
in that creativity where it's like primal for you because it's just ear, and then it's very theological for him.
He can say exactly what he's doing, and like his skill set is so high, it's amazing. But it's also, it's funny because it's like, he's like going out into nature and jamming with me, who's like this little mudfish, and it like works out.
He's like, come on and skip home with me,
and it makes
boy.
the most beautiful music. Exactly. And I'm like, I'm learning too.
I'm gonna put a feather in my cap, Mud Skipper. Let's sing a song.
Exactly. Like I won't commit to staying in the ocean. I want to breathe air, but I guess I'm stuck in the mud until I get somewhere else.
You've had some pretty awesome crews on your records too, between like Liam and Jenna that we've already mentioned.
Donald McClellan, he's been a frequent
mentioned him on the pod before. I can't wait to talk to him eventually. And who else? Snedden? You have Andrew Snedden.
Andrew
on
Snedden,
there.
Jordy McCormick has played a number of times.
Luke Doiron.
Yeah.
The Barkhouse Brothers.
And who else has played recently as well? There was like some. Oh, there was Flute from Newfoundland.
Then you're in Jazz Fest, baby. You're in. Flute from Newfoundland, did you say? Like a traditional Newfoundland flute?
No, it was just a performer who played
flautist.
flute who lived in Newfoundland, and I collaborated with her on like a project before, and so it was just like, hey, can you record something for this song at your place there and send
I
it
need
to
some
me.
traditional Newfoundland flute. Yeah.
I don't think that exists.
It does. It's actually just a flute impersonating
If it's a
bird
fife?
calls.
What birds? The seabirds.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, that's Newfoundland flute.
I don't actually know about enough of the terrestrial land birds of Newfoundland.
You did play in Newfoundland a bit, though, didn't you?
A little bit, yeah. I went up in 2013. That was my first time, and I haven't returned since. Not out of like disdain. I just, I want to go.
Yeah, you're
but
the
I
only
don't.
person in the world who didn't like Newfoundland.
I'm a scaredy cat when it comes to just like always just doing things on my own.
Where did
I need
you
to have
go?
a little prep. I was just in St. John's basically.
Okay.
But played around at the Ship and at a friend's house and at like the Rose and Thistle, which was like another pub. And so I did like 3 little shows. Stayed with. I guess it was 2013. Joanna Barker. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, I
she was
don't know
awesome.
Who she is?
Yeah. Very
Should-
good musician. Yeah.
Should I know
Super
who
cool.
she is? She's great. That's Mary Beth Carney in the front row.
I'll also say that this was 10 years
Joanne
ago that
Barker.
I was there. So, I mean, people change. If you don't like somebody now, that's also fine.
That's okay. Wow. That's so considerate of you to say for everybody
Well, I
listening.
think about
like,
that
if
half
you
of the
don't-
time where you're like, so do you know these musicians? And it's like, some people change. And it's like, so you do know them, but you're like,
But I won't say whether or not I
You never know.
do
It's a part of the
know
process
them
of
anymore.
existing that I accept.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah.
I feel like I'm pretty open about that stuff. Almost too much so. I fully wrote a song telling my old best friends that it's over. That there is no such thing anymore.
Because they were really trying to connect with you still?
I
And you're
just-
like, they'll only
why-
understand me in song.
Well, why does the word best friend have to exist in the first place? It was a stupid, childish concept. But also, like, why do you have to hold on to relationships just because they knew you when you were that? When you feel like something.
Well, they sound
different
like they're
now?
either lonely, they haven't moved on.
That's
which is
true.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
that's
they're
possible.
Or they're like, I guess, vindictive slightly, and they're like they've been
Ooh.
hurt by you because you
And they're
broke up
coming
with them.
after you?
Yeah, they broke up with you. You hurt them. You hurt their heart.
And you think those people are coming after me?
I've never been surprised that like men are the more sensitive and intolerable species, or like sex of the
Yeah.
of
Which is why
humanity.
we don't deserve
To the
grants.
point now where it's like I've been saying to other people where it's like the fact that camo and hunting outfits have taken over rural Canadian men's fashion.
I love that you said this.
When anybody says that, like, oh, it's like women have so much independence compared to men in all of rural, like, North America, where you look at them and it's camo. You can't see them because they're wearing camo,
Right,
but they're
I don't know who you're talking about.
But they're out there
You're
everywhere.
just talking about those trees with eyes.
But it's just
right?
like, they're the ones, like, it's obvious every time, and I love it, because it's like, this is what little baby boys do, and it's like, they have their little fucking tantrums all the time.
I'm so glad you said that. I was this close to wearing a camo shirt tonight. I have
two camo hats. One of them says camo on it. The other one says Ducks Unlimited. And I love the fact that it's a camo Ducks Unlimited hat, because the crossover is still so weirdly...
True, we conserve nature, but we wear hunting gear.
We've got to kill it, too.
We got to kill it first to conserve it. Well, it's the only way to conserve it is stuff it and put it on the shelf.
And in terms of North America, like the amount of funding that a lot of like wetland habitats get from the stamp side of things with regards to hunting is like immense. And like there's like John Oliver did on his show one year, because they were talking about how much like popularity goes into the stamp competition, where every year there's a new duck stamp and people like compete to win, and every year it's like somebody gets crowned a champion, but the amount of money that also goes into conservation is huge, but it's also partly because of just guys that like hunting ducks and collecting stamps.
And want it to be conserved for them to be able to hunt on.
And it's kind of true. Like, it's the funniest like in between.
Oh God, I think about that all the time. I mean, especially like Nova Scotia, it's this funny thing, this relationship with the forest, where the government just refers to it as a resource, and everybody else refers to it as like the land. You know, look at our land.
Well, I think of it sometimes because of the age of the forests, and how when they say that like the whole province was clear cut, like everything that we see, apart from any old growth, if you can find it somehow, is baby forest. So it's kind of amazing to think that Nova Scotia used to look like BC, but then also it makes sense that now people see the landscape as a resource, because they don't see it as the original. They see it as a field, because it is basically a field now, because it's regrown a couple of times.
I guess sustained the economy out here. Well, Upper Canada was screwing the East Coast. It was the only thing that sustained the economy.
Yeah, but we had the Blue Nose, and it raced really fast.
Yeah, we could float those logs like nobody else.
I always, like, when I lived in Lunenburg, it was like hard not to get like a chip on your shoulder against the stupidest ideas, and like
against
for
the
that,
Blue Nose?
for just that, where you were looking at basically a mint, you were looking at the Canadian mint.
Yes.
You're looking at the currency coming out, and the currency is like caribou, beautiful, loon, beautiful. What else? Beaver, great idea. We should put animals on everything. And then the Blue Nose literally walked up, kicked the fucking boot in the door, and was like, put a boat that won a race on the coin.
Hey, this was funded by a rich guy.
We're talking about the majesty of the country here.
Yeah.
He's like, but where boat went fast.
It was way faster.
Boat went fast, won't go coin.
Yeah,
like, that's what happened.
Please let me put on my camo and look at my boat.
And you know that like the brown bear or the black bear was like, I was the dime.
The
black bear was
grizzly.
like, I was the dime.
The grizzly. The grizzly could kill every other animal and every other coin.
And they were like,
every prime minister.
And that boat put themselves, but that's like NASCAR literally showing up and putting themselves in your money. Because that's what they were. They were racing around the world to make money. They weren't fishing anymore. And it was like literally NASCAR showing up and be like,
you're
don't
on to
forget
something,
about
dude.
us.
I give it 5 years before NASCAR is on money.
I can't wait.
5
I'm looking
years.
forward to
or
it.
the first NASCAR star. There's got to be like Dale Earnhardt.
It just means that arguably,
coins out
if the
there.
Blue Nose, it should be Theodore Tugboat then should be replacing the dime, because it's
That's
the same.
beautiful.
It's the same thing.
Theodore the Tug has
Arguably
made
entertained
more
and
cultural
educated
impact
more children.
than the Blue Nose for sure.
Yeah.
Wait, did you ever go on the Blue Nose when you lived down there?
I tried to break onto it once because
At night?
because it was there. It was in the harbor, and there was
no one's looking at it.
nobody was there on the deck, and I was like, well, this is a little too easy. So I like walked on and wandered around, and then somebody came up, and I was like, oh, there is people on the boat. And like left.
Was it like a swarthy?
No, it was just
buttman?
one of the the stewards, people who work on the boat. But they were like, it was also pretty chill. But it was the Blue Nose too, so it was like the reproduction of the Olin's version,
Doesn't
which
even
I
go
also
as
love.
fast.
It was
Doesn't even go as
It's not even
fast.
like rebuild a boat and like have it be the boat, or like what if we rebuilt the mascot of the boat?
Yeah, based on
The beer company
money.
mascot.
yeah. Well, the Labatts too. Like I read this history of the Labatt family and the Molson family, and they all just built these fast boats
They're
to
rich.
race each other
Yeah.
and crash into each other because they would all get
fun.
drunk and
Because it's fun. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, what a disgusting.
We're very
tradition.
simple people.
So you're right. I love that.
I don't know. I love getting drunk and crashing into things too.
Actually,
Every time I see a kid with a go-kart, I'm like, that wasn't my childhood, and I don't know how to feel because I really want them to have the best time of their life, and I think they are. But I'm jealous because I was like, they have a go-kart as a kid. The freedom,
Until
the
you
power.
see the friggin' broken collarbone.
No, those kids are wearing like the most robust helmets.
Oh.
Yeah, that was
Taking
part of
care
the. I went to Briar Island, and it was like one of the cutest and most Nova Scotian things, where it was like Dad was on his ATV, and then his kid was behind him in his go-kart driving down the main road.
That's what that was?
So I was
Okay.
like, what is a precious moment?
So let's talk about your photo series for a second here, because you were just in Briar Island taking photos for fun.
I bring my camera with me everywhere.
When did that start for you?
It started in university because I painted in high school and did art classes and stuff, but I never had access to like a photo lab. We didn't have a newspaper in high school or anything like that.
Okay.
So once I got to university and then was in the fine arts program, it was like photography and printmaking were the newest things to me.
Right.
So I really focused on them. And then when I left and graduated, I didn't have money for a studio space to start painting in or like sculpting. So photography was the most applicable and multi-use kind of like art form.
What was your first camera that you had?
I think it was the Nikon FE, which was like the standard film 35mm camera we had for.
Did the school give them out too? Did you?
No, I think I chose that one, but there was variations of it because they had the Pentax K1000 as well, or like a Minolta or a classic Canon.
Oh my goodness!
There's a variety. There's a lot. There's a lot of 35mm cameras. You can go anywhere with those.
Yeah.
It's really the lenses, I guess, half of the time.
Have you stepped up your lens game lately?
Yeah, I'm a totally different person now.
Wow. The colors you capture are insane, Corey. I don't understand how you get these pinks and these yellows out of
Well,
your
half
photos.
of it is editing. I mean, like
Okay.
I'm not oversaturating things, but there is like a vibrancy. Like I'm wearing yellow tinted glasses right now, and they warm
Right.
up and add saturation to the world around me, which I think my brain internalizes, so I want to communicate what I see in the same way with the photos afterward, which I think is fun. But going back to even like the very first photography, you still had to like expose the film in a lab over some paper and then decide how dark and light it was. So every photo you've ever seen has been manipulated past what it originally looked like.
Yes, that's beautiful.
It's
That's
very
a good way to look
some
at it.
some photographers focus on being amazing authentically. They don't even have to edit. And those people like Yusuf Karsh, these are like crazy amazing photographers in history. But it was at a time too where you just didn't have the studio space or the editing to do it. Now it's obviously you can do anything.
Yeah.
Adobe Photoshop is like, put a moon in the sky. Like they want you to fake everything,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
just amusing to me because it's the marketability and design that's sort of past that. So I try to maintain that I don't ever like recreate or take things out or put things into photos, but I certainly still play with like color and lighting and adjusting maybe what you'd initially get out of what was maybe like I don't know, because there's like it's an artistic interpretation, so it's sort of, but it's fun, but it's fun because people take it as 100% reality, and that is an interesting feature of like the medium of photography.
You're
like,
reshaping their brains in a way. You're rewiring.
sort of.
their
It's funny though because
consciousness
it's like for a photographer it's like painting, but for the audience they think it's reality, and so you're kind of like you don't have to retell people that, but at the same time you're sort of.
Well, Fran always tells me about how like the American lawn isn't a real thing. That was based on Victorian paintings.
Oh, like after people having them.
Yeah, there was no lawns. They just painted them into these pictures, and then everybody said, well, we better get one of those. So I love that you're shaping a reality that is literally rose or yellow tinted glasses.
But I was also talking to someone the other day about how I was thinking, but I also do love color and probably hunt it out and like think about composing and taking photos that are already composed of color.
Is there a time of day for you?
No, it's kind of, it depends on whenever. Most of the time I end up going out in the evenings because you just have more time to kind of forget, like you're more forgiven in terms of the sun going down as opposed to like waking up really early, which is just annoying sometimes because I like sleeping in because I'm a late boy.
A late boy?
I'm a late boy.
Corey's a late boy.
It's like I gotta be up till 12 every night, or I haven't used the day.
Wow.
Yeah, like if I go to 10, I'm like, Jesus, what did you do?
Even just like watching stuff.
If
like, I gotta
if
make
the
it
last 2
midnight.
hours between 10 and 12 aren't used, it's like I've wasted the whole day.
Dude, I've been in bed for like 4 hours, Corey. You're missing out on the greatest sleep of your life.
Now it's a concentrated 8-hour sleep in and out. Boom,
God.
yeah.
I want to ask you a couple more things.
I never
about
set an
your-
alarm, so don't worry.
You're obviously
My body
wired.
doesn't let me.
Yeah.
Well, that's another.
You got the Kramer body clock, don't you?
Kramer body clock. I also don't drink coffee or caffeine at all, so I do have.
Ever.
Well, I mean, I have teas occasionally.
No. Caffeinated tea.
If I'm late, I'm late.
If I'm a late boy, I'll get up and have some tea.
I remember that where it was like early years of Sappy Fest. And I was like, Corey, you might need a coffee. Like that, I would have like a coffee once a year, and usually it would be like partying late night at a
Sappy
festival,
Fest.
and that would be when my body could tolerate it.
Speaking of Sappy Fest, you didn't get to go this year. You went to the Rockabilly.
I chose the Rockabilly Picnic this year, which was like a 5-year return
At
in
Broad
Broad
Cove?
Cove Hall. In Broad Cove Hall, Lunenburg County, Nova Scotia, not Broad Cove, Cape Breton, which people have gotten confused about.
I love that you're such a good Lunenburg County boy that you're like, get it right. It's
No, I
Broad
bet you.
Cove,
Honestly, I mean, they're
Lunenburg.
both pretty good. I bet you
Yeah.
they're both probably equally good, as opposed to. Yeah.
I'm going to tell you right now, I bet
Picking
you
favorites.
Broad Cove, Cape Breton, bet you everyone there could beat up Broad Cove, Lunenburg, no problem.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know.
I'm going to guess.
The people
no
who live
problem.
in Broad Cove they're hard.
Oh, yeah, no.
Both of them, but definitely the
name
ones in
them.
Lunenburg. The
You name
Lunenburg
them?
one?
Yeah.
No, actually, out of all my friends in the South Shore, Broad Cove is the hardest.
Okay, I'm going to put the call out right now. So for all
It's
the
harder than
listeners,
honestly, Bridgewater, not hard.
For
Broad
all-
Cove, watch out.
for all one of my listeners in Broad Cove, Cape Breton, round up the buys, tell them we're going to put together a big brawl. And then for all 2 of my listeners
But just for
in
show.
Broad Cove, Lunenburg, yeah, put all the buys and
Yeah.
the gals together.
Yeah.
We're going to go down to the hall and have a big showdown, and everyone's going to show off their muscles.
We could dance too, yeah.
It's going to be Friendly Heckler sponsored.
That's kind of what the Rockabilly Picnic was, basically, because you rolled your sleeves
A
up.
flex fest?
Yeah, basically.
Wow. How many packs of cigarettes did you see rolled up in sleeves?
A lot, actually.
Really? That's
Yeah.
still a thing.
Well, I don't think they were real cigarettes.
Okay.
Some people just put like soap boxes. Like,
That's
it's,
okay.
it's an ivory soap box. I'm thinking,
Yeah.
what else? What other boxes are there? I guess it's the only one.
I'm getting a note
something.
delivered.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
yeah.
Oh dear.
Oh, someone wants to hear Towers to Windmills, which we
Wow.
already spoke about.
Crazy.
Do you want to play that? It's your choice.
I can play it.
You're getting heckled by
The funny thing is,
audience
though,
by paper.
To me, it's if I'm like, no, I shouldn't say that. I was like, to me, it's a boring song.
That's amazing.
But it's not only because it has no bridge or chorus. It's just like I'm singing in verses. The verses have the same structure, and then the chorus is just an
See?
instrumental
That's
reprieve.
why it's a beautiful story that
It
means
comes
something to
back and
people, though.
But it is more of a story than it is a song. I
Hit
guess.
it, bud.
Hit it. Hit your guitar. Yeah, if I rush into it, no.
From towers to windmills, I saw the landscape change, and I thought of the signal dying on the airwaves, cutting out the range. From towers to windmills, I saw a lone pheasant fly, searching for a burrow near the highways of tomorrow, underneath a vacant sky. From towers to windmills, I saw the giants exchange the power of the skyline, an icon of the borderline, a place from where we came. From towers to windmills, I grew up underneath their watch and spent nearly half a decade learning how to navigate the heart of the heart. From towers to windmills, I saw the focus shift. And instead of communication, we're only concentrating on how much longer we can live. From towers to windmills, I pay tribute to those who know. The visions I have seen, now only visions in a dream. I am sad to see them go. Thank you. Thank you. There you go.
10 years, no big deal.
A little homage to the Towers.
That was awesome, man. Wow, I can't believe you pulled that out. Thank you for the audience requests, too.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. People know music.
Yeah. See, people know your music, too. You are popular, dude. I want to do something with you because we've talked about your photography. We've talked about your music.
Yeah.
We've talked. Sorry, my button on my shirt keeps coming undone. And
Yeah,
it's
but
just
you're
a
gonna.
middle button.
Okay,
It's
yeah,
really weird.
But that same button on my other shirts also is the one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so maybe it's
Or
doing
the
it
button I've
just
lost.
out of excitement for you.
It's usually the one up or the second one up, but it always.
It's not even a gut thing. It's
Is
just
it
a
the
loose
belly button? Now that's what I want to know.
Oh, yes. Yes, wow. That was spot on, sir. It is the belly button, actually. Like, if
could
it
be.
opened right now, I'd be extremely embarrassed.
Now my question to you, now that we've gotten through that, is
Yes.
what do you think they called the belly button before we even had buttons?
Food hole.
Okay. What?
Yeah, because that's where the food went before.
We didn't know that. It looked like it was just like an arm. It was it was like your intestines into the baby's gut.
They called it the baby's trumpet.
It was
They
probably
did.
just like you're like, oh, we
yeah, yeah. Hot snake.
Hot snake,
Somebody
yeah.
said.
Yeah.
That's Fran. That's
blood
disgusting.
tube. I don't know.
Fran just wanted to yell "hot snakes" in a
Hot
public place,
snake.
which, yeah, that's disgusting.
I'm not gonna play that song.
All right, so where I was before I was so rudely interrupted by you, Corey, and then my wife yelling "hot snakes," I wanted to just say,
Hot snakes.
yeah, that's an amazing heckle. Everyone start heckling that at shows. Just yell "hot snakes."
Have you ever? I mean, sorry to click, but have you heard of the song Snake Farm? Yeah. It's great. It's
No, who's
good.
that by? Oh, wow.
You should listen to
Play
it.
it.
It's pretty good. Snake Farm. It's a reptile
I
house.
think I have heard
Snake
that.
Farm pretty much is. Snake Farm. Ooh.
Okay, yes, I have heard
That's
that.
the
It's a really
chorus.
creepy song. Yeah.
It's awesome.
The one thing with yours we haven't talked about, Corey, is, and I don't know if you want to admit this publicly, but you run a Simpsons Meme account.
I do, yeah. I will.
the
I will admit
Corey-Hotline.
it. It's true, yeah.
At
And I'm wearing
the
a
Corey
Simpsons t-shirt
Hotline
tonight, though. It's not a. It's
Show
not,
it to the podcast
it's not
listeners.
A shirt, it's not a shirt that I've endorsed, but this was the.
Will you describe it for the podcast listeners?
It says the Springfield. Exactly, the Eye on Springfield, which is the Ken Brockman news show.
And on the cover, it has like all the montage
Oh
footage,
yeah, it's
right?
beautiful.
I
Yeah,
can't believe
it's
you haven't
amazing.
learned that on guitar yet.
I bought this from Threadless, which is like an internet T-shirt website that I like was introduced to in the early days of university. I was like, "Cool, you can buy clothes on the internet." 'Cause I'm an
Little did you
idiot.
know.
'Cause I'm an
Yeah.
idiot. Exactly. But I was like, "Oh, but artists are like making these designs and putting them up there." So this popped up one day, and I was like, "I need that." And I got it, and then, but it wasn't until COVID that I dove into this sort of like what they call the Simpsons meme world.
What does The Simpsons mean to you?
I mean-
Well, this is a big question, but what
My-
does it mean to you?
I mean, like in terms of the internet and memes, it's like, you know, you just mash pop culture stuff together.
Yeah.
Jokes are made. In the Simpsons world, it's sort of like you kind of like, okay, well, what if something that happened today with Elon Musk could be attributed to a Simpsons joke? That's a version.
Yeah.
But then another version of it that is arguably a bigger part of the culture is like the people that love the Simpsons, but then merging different Simpsons jokes together into new jokes and just self-referentially. Like it's kind of, I see it kind of as like the after effect of the glory days from the generation that loved the Simpsons growing up, where now we're revisiting. It's kind of like a habitual, like holding on to the what made it so great.
Yeah.
It seems like some of the times it is partially like some weird, like I don't think it's a negative thing, but it strikes me as interest in terms of like it's left behind nostalgia. Like it's a Facebook
Yeah.
group. It's people that are all kind of like we're finding a community. The people love the community, but at the same time, it is just this weird kind of like
unwillingness to also approve of or accept modern Simpsons or anything like that.
Right.
And so you're left living
Celebrate
in
the good old stuff.
Yeah, and so you wonder if it's like that kind of, like, it's not a conservative group of people because it's Simpsons, but at the same time you're like, we're really holding on to the old times. But the show changed so much and arguably wasn't what it became or like was that it's a different variation of popularity and what people love about it. Like, because arguably it's the writing. In the end, it goes down to the writing. You're like,
that means something to you?
In the beginning, it was like it was a satirical show. It was biting. It was commenting, and then eventually, like Family Guy took over, and so it tried to catch up to Family Guy, and it lost a lot of its potential, and then it got lost in the sort of hilarity of like modern world, and now it's absolutely gone.
Do you think
not funny at all?
Do you think that The Simpsons does actually have premonition power? Like they've been?
No, they were just sort of like making jokes about humanity.
And if you make enough, you're going to predict
and
the
people,
future.
people are always, you look for eyes and everything, and that's all it is. It's like people are looking for The Simpsons in their own life to try to validate something, which is just so weird.
I want to describe a couple of these memes for the listener because.
Oh right, yeah,
like,
okay. Okay. Oh dear.
Because it took me a while to understand the Simpsons meme account and the
I
Corey
go all
Hotline.
over the place between things that are probably not appropriate to totally just absolutely stupid dork.
I'm really impressed by how inappropriate you get. This one is a picture of Sigourney Weaver with the alien in her face.
Yeah.
And the alien has Flanders.
No, it's Lenny's thumbs
that's
up.
Lenny's thumb with covered in slobber.
Yeah, from the alien.
And the caption is, "Hey Ridley, that was some swell shindig."
Yeah, which actually I got wrong in terms of the caption.
I'm
That was
so sorry,
my
I picked
mistake.
one.
Because it's a Ridley. Arguably it holds up because it's a Ridley Scott directed film, but her name isn't Ridley in the film, so people were like, upset with I wasn't necessarily being 100% authentic. And it's a hilarious world of just anything goes and we'll get you if it's wrong.
Yeah.
But that is like, there's a joke on the Simpsons episode where Lenny, after a work party that Mr. Burns has hosted, comes up to his car to say thank you, and Mr. Burns loses it and freaks out that anybody who's like a local, Lenny's like, "Thank you so much, Mr. Burns. It was a real swell shindig." And Mr. Burns like, "Get him away, get him away!" And so the end joke is Lenny goes, and he gives him a big thumbs up, and Mr. Burns recoils in terror.
So
that is arguably the joke where the thumbs up is supposed to be like the
Mr.
most terrifying thing you can ever do.
That's amazing.
So that's
Corey.
that's the base of the concept of the joke. It's not that arguably isn't a great meme though.
No, but I get it though. No,
but
this
it's me
is another
playing.
one I want to cover.
Half of the time it's playing. It's just like I'm
I'm
just
impressed,
like,
dude.
this is a
You're
funny
writing
world.
Simpsons bits. This one is
Sort of.
a picture of the Eastern European. I think he was a car salesman.
Yeah.
And
Crazy
it looks
Vaklovs.
like one of the dancers from the Vegas episode is driving away with his car.
No, that's Kirk's girlfriend.
wife?
No, it's Kirk's girlfriend that he gets when he breaks up with his wife from
With
the
Luann?
episode. Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
so-
That's Starla.
So they're standing
That's
outside.
Starla.
Starla. Okay,
And she's like,
that's
"Honey, do you
amazing.
mind if I have?" She's like, "Can I have keys to the car? I'm going to go change wigs." And so
She takes
she's
off.
going out. She takes his car.
And so in this case, you've got the Eastern European car salesman saying, "My car, my demo tape."
Yeah.
She drives off, and he's looking at the demo tape that says, "Crazy Vaklovs, can you put it in H?"
Exactly. Yeah.
And the tape is ruined.
Yeah, exactly.
It's such a good meme.
So stupid. Because basically,
And then
Crazy
you've written
Backlab.
lyrics for this
yeah.
song. Can
Yeah,
you put it in H? This car from somewhere you've never been. She'll go 300 hectares on a single tank of kerosene.
Yes.
You wrote those lyrics? That's amazing, Corey.
So stupid.
Wow, you have 6 brains, dude.
Sometimes, yeah. Well, it was like I grew up and I watched The Simpsons, but then once COVID came around and there was just like time, I was like, I'd never been a part of an internet community, let alone like sharing things that were reacted to on the internet. Like, my Instagram approach to photography was sort of chill. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I see there's a question, and now I think we have to answer it.
Graham Nicholas, you have a question. Given that you've been at every podcast,
great.
please.
Well, what's so interesting about your meme account that's based on The Simpsons
Okay, get your own podcast, but continue.
is I feel like Simpsons is the first show that referenced pop culture as much like as it does.
Yeah.
Like no
Oh,
other show.
Flintstones.
Oh, that's possible.
But
There
they had it covered in sort of like, we're old timey, but we're going to reference
Exactly.
modern world.
Like there was product placement in the Flintstones, but it was like done.
But they weren't referencing the
prehistorically.
modern world in like the times they existed.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Like
At
whether
the
it was
time.
Schwarzenegger or like the
Oh
President
my God,
Bush
yes,
or
Schwarzenegger.
yeah. Yeah.
scandals.
Yeah.
They would play. It's like, they had to have the Clintons in the show, but then you'd have Rainier Wolfcastle, not Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, yes.
So and it was funny because it was like, we're in an alternate universe, but we're not. But we are.
Yeah.
So meany.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, it already was, and like I think that's part of it. It's like it is heavily built just in nostalgia and playing with the ideas of remember when, wasn't that funny? Like I don't know if it's like an addictive drug and sort of how simple and rewarding it is,
Nostalgia
but
is.
it arguably like to me, I was like, why do so many people follow this? And it's like it's not because I'm actually arguably
No, it's
that
the longest
funny.
running television show.
Yeah,
like, right?
exactly.
Yeah,
Of course, people
it's-
love The
yeah.
Simpsons, and so it partially is like, oh, why not capitalize? I understood once I was getting that, I was like, oh, this is how fan-based anything exists in the world, because there's lots of other people that like make money just commercializing the stuff that they make, and like people ask me occasionally, like, will you make a T-shirt? And it's like, oh, I just don't have the financial back end to start, but at the same time, right,
could.
other people just assume that this is how they would normally create a business, and like it's all Simpsons-based things. And it's like, I was amazed that I was like, I didn't realize that much of a community was out there until I was a part of it. And now it's like, it's already huge in North America, but Argentina, Mexico, Australia, very, very big Simpsons communities.
Wow.
Arguably bigger than North America, actually.
Tell me the craziest connection that you made through the Corey Hotline universe.
I think it's more like just like social media touch-offs, but like Bill Oakley, one of the original writers, I can like basically communicate with him through messages, but otherwise he'll like memes or share memes of mine, which is crazy to me.
That's
because
amazing.
he like one of the original writers of like 22 short films about Springfield, which is like Steamed Hams, which is like arguably the most memed like concept of the show.
Football and groin?
Yeah, and like so he's responsible for like the best episodes of a show that I love. So it's crazy to be able to just like touch like his like shoulder if you want and say like, hey, and
Well,
like
he
he
tapped
liked
yours to tell you.
but
he
that's what I
liked
mean.
you,
That
too.
it is amazing. It's weird
Cool.
and funny, and like it doesn't. I don't know how to. I never grew up, I guess, having idols, so I haven't created a spectrum in my head where it's like I need to be relevant of these situations or reverent. The reverent. That's the word. Relevant is not a word.
No, you need to
reverent.
be very revenant in general.
Relevant and reverent. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Reverent.
Revenant.
No, but it's like, so to me, I'm like, oh, that's really nice, and I appreciate it, but it doesesn't blow me away, but it does. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's sort of, but like, versus like Will Wheaton, who is like, he was Picard's son
Freakish writers.
on Deep Space Nine, but he's an amazing writer, but he's also
Yeah.
like, he's a fan, and like, and he has a huge following, and like,
That's awesome.
and it's just very like amusing to realize, oh, this goes really far. Like Simpsons
Yeah.
really connects a lot of people without having to be just about only The Simpsons. Like,
Okay, all
it's
right.
the shared love of a food, basically.
You're connecting with crazy levels of people within the Simpsons universe, but I think it's time to show off some of your Simpsons prowess. So I would like to do something. I've put some pen and paper on the tables
Oh, yeah.
here
Uh-huh.
for the
Yeah.
live audience
Uh-huh.
members, but I'm also going to put it out to the podcast universe that if you would like to participate now in this Simpsons trivia, please
Yeah.
get out your pen and
I have
paper.
90% confidence that I can
Pause
answer
this
these right.
episode right now.
I don't think I can get
your pen
everything
and
right.
paper.
It depends on what.
I'm
Because the
going to
other,
give you some softballs.
well, the other spectrum of The Simpsons is that people love it from basically seasons 10 and before.
Oh, yeah, that's
anything
the
after
good
10, people don't acknowledge. There's a couple of like magical episodes that pop
Right.
up. So a lot of the time, I'm like, I'm a fan, but I'm also one of these. I'm a nerd fan who doesn't
Yeah.
actually care about all of it.
See, I'm
There's
a
lots of people that
nerd
love
in
all of
general
it.
about it, but I'm not as deep
people
of a
are-
fan. So I
look at
think
those.
I'm going to give you some decent questions that you'll be able to get.
I'm very curious.
I'm going to start with softies, and then softballs, I should say. No, I won't say either of those words. They don't feel good coming out of my mouth.
From Maine to San Diego.
Jesus.
Mattingly and Canseco.
Okay, well, there you go. You're already doing the Simpsons references.
Ken Griffey with his grotesquely swollen jaw.
Oh my God, that was amazing, Corey. All right, well, you get 10 bonus points off the top. But here we go.
Sacks and his running with the law.
Corey,
We're talking
Hotline
Homer,
Simpsons Trivia.
Ozzy and the Straw.
Sick, Corey. I knew this was going to happen. Okay, simple question 1. Is everybody ready?
Yeah.
I'm going to keep track of your answers. Yeah, I'm going to keep track of Corey's answers so I can... Oh, you're...
I'm not going to write it. I'm just going to guess out of my head.
Yeah. Oh.
What do you mean? Like,
I
You
kind of
want- you
want
want
you...
me to
No,
write-
I want you to say your answers out loud.
yeah.
Well, then you guys just write them down in the debate about it after.
Yeah, you're gonna have to, I
You
think,
guys are
honor system
unimportant in this
score.
situation. Yeah, I'm sorry to be a friendly heckler about
No,
it. but
I want
this
them
is
to
about
know.
Corey. So, all right. Question 1. Question 1.
I won't answer right away, though. I'll give you time.
Out loud.
But I will wait. I feel like I'll wait till they have their answers written down.
All right.
Yeah. Duh.
All right.
Duh.
Question 1. Principal Skinner's real identity.
Wow.
Answer?
I'm gonna wait until everybody.
Oh, they're done. They're good.
They're good.
That's enough time.
His real identity. Well, I mean, it's brought up in an episode.
Yes. Who he
season
was found
10,
out to be.
which he claims his name is Armin Tamzarian.
Nice. Yeah.
And then there's another individual who's the real Seymour Skinner, who's supposed to be his, I guess, colonel or general or something. But that is a contentious episode, and some people argue is like the beginning of the end for The Simpsons.
Okay. Well, I love
Because of the redundancy and the stupidity of the plot, where you're like, why would you've created an entire life and an entire arc for this character, and now you're trying to dismantle it without actually, like, for people, it's like, be a better writer. You're like, that's a lazy write.
Was there a chance to just create a Marvel situation where there's numerous universes happening?
Well, I've done that now.
Question 2. Another softball. Homer's job title and bonus for location in the plant.
Oh, right.
That's a perfect interlude. Do it each time, yeah. Okay, you can answer.
He's the safety inspector.
Mm-hmm.
I think, I don't know if he works in Sector 7G or if he works near Sector 7G, because I'm pretty sure it did that, but sometimes like things come up and he's like near it and they're like
Right.
over there.
Homer Simpson.
Yeah,
Sector 7G,
yeah.
sir.
But I'm pretty sure it's Sector 7G.
Okay.
One of
question 3. I'm going to keep boogieing along here.
I just want to add a slight appendice where there's like an hilarious amalgamation of Smithers terms for whenever they use like, that's what's his name in Sector 7G, and like one of the best ones is chair moistener.
Chair moistener. Sector 7.
They're like, that's one of your chair moisteners in Sector 7G. I was like,
Nice.
that as a term is destructive.
Next album title, Chair Moistener, Corey Isenor. It's question 3. Ned's store. What is it called?
Cute.
Yeah.
I did do it. It's the Leftorium.
Nice.
Yeah.
Question 4. What is Homer's high school yearbook quote?
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah.
Amazing.
That's hilarious.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Tender.
Tender. I can't believe I ate the whole thing.
Nice. And bonus questions.
And his face is just disheveled.
What's listed under activities?
Oh. That's actually a good one, because I thought it was all none. Like, it's like something none, activities none. Is that what it is? They're all three of them are none? Yeah.
Nailed it,
Yeah.
bud. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Question, I think we're on 5. Question 5. Who voiced Homer's brother?
Oh, nice. Yeah, great one. Also really good. Oh, now you're waiting for me to do it. Danny DeVito.
Nice. I love that you have to do the riff.
He's in 2 episodes, but many people have like
Herb,
suggested that he should come back as like Herb. Like Herb should make a return to the.
Yeah.
In a way, like if the Simpsons were going to make good episodes and then wanted to reintroduce old characters, it's like should bring back Herb for an episode.
Start the whole show over again with Herb's family.
Exactly. Yeah.
Bonus question: do you know the name of that episode?
Oh, the first one?
Yeah, that Herb first shows up in.
Because I think it's Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Damn,
Yeah.
Corey.
But then the second one is no, that's a different one. You get confused. Occasionally, there's one episode called Brother from the Same Planet, but that's Sideshow Bob and his brother.
Whoa.
But
Okay, well, hold on. We'll get there.
Which they use as the.
Hold on. We'll get there. We'll get there. It's question 6. Finish this quote from Fat Tony. I don't get mad. I get blank.
Actually, I don't know if I'm 100% confident on that one. I want to say I want to say even, but it's not even.
I don't get mad. I get
Results? No, I don't know.
That's
This
pretty
is good.
good.
You're gonna have
Ooh,
to tell me.
first one.
I'm stumped on it. Yeah.
Okay. Stabby. I don't get mad. I get stabby.
Which episode is that from?
I couldn't tell you.
Oh,
actually.
I
That's
bet you
your
it's
job.
after season 10. That's why.
Oh, probably. I don't know. It's not that late. It's maybe season.
Because
12.
legs
Okay.
is usually the stabbing one, like of his
I love that
sidekicks.
you knew the sidekicks names. I almost asked you that.
Louis and legs.
Question 7. Which Bouvier sister was born first?
Oh wow. Oh right. They always so my references would be the episode where Patty and Selma get married, and of the sisters, the first one, before one of them gets married to Bob, but before that, she gets married to Skinner. Actually, I think it's the same person each time, which is Selma, I believe. But I think it's her. Patty's talking about Selma being the first one out because she's like she's always had like nicer skin, something. Is it Selma though? It could be Patty.
Selma is older by 2 minutes.
She's older. That's what it is.
Done,
Okay, so it's
Corey.
Patty's the first one.
Question 8.
Selma's older, so she is the first one out. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, by
that's
2
what it was.
minutes.
Yeah, you're right.
She's had the much more.
Yeah, Patty
interesting
never
life.
gets married.
I don't think she actually marries Skinner.
But
he proposes.
Yeah.
When she turns him.
Yes, you're right. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
I'm so
to get
sorry.
all
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Technical on you, King Technical.
She likes cherry cordials.
Oh my God. Question 8. Sideshow Bob and his brothers' full names.
Oh. Wow. Okay.
No, you don't have to do middle names.
I think it's Bob Terwilliger Roberts, or is it Bob Roberts though? Is it Robert Roberts?
Are you?
Or no, it's just Bob Terwilliger. It's not. It's like I'm just.
There
thinking
you
Rob.
go.
But then it's Cecil is his brother. Mm-hmm. But I don't know what Cecil's middle name is.
Oh, I don't
it's
need
just Cecil
middle
Terwilliger.
names.
Isn't
I
it?
think they're both Terwilligers. Yeah. Bonus question: who voices their dad?
Their dad?
Yeah, in an episode.
That comes up. I haven't seen that episode, so I have no idea.
Oh, okay, that's awesome that you haven't
John
seen
Goodman? I don't know.
it. You got the John right. I'll tell you that much. Hint: Frasier.
What are you talking about?
The dad on John Mahoney was the voice of their father.
Makes sense. Okay, yeah,
as
that makes perfect sense.
He played Robert
So it was
Terwilliger
before he died.
Senior.
Yeah. You're right.
Okay.
I haven't seen that. That's a late episode.
Oh, see,
But I knew I wasn't going to know those.
I'm stretching it for
yeah,
you.
I'm a
See, I wanted
shithead.
to beat you a little bit. I had to best you a tiny bit. But here's a good final question. Number 8. How many of Bart's prank call aliases can you name?
Oh, wow. Number 8?
Number 8.
So, like, in terms of how Mo, like, answers the phone.
Yeah, what are some of the names
Nice.
that Mo ends up using?
Nice.
How many of those can you name?
IP Freely.
Nice.
Maya Buttreeks. Homosexual. I'm a big moron, and my butt stinks, and I like to kiss my own butt.
I can't believe you got that one.
Huge ass, which is like what she gets for it because he actually answers the phone. And beyond that, what are
nice
some other
young
ones?
Yes, this is huge ass.
Yeah. There's one that he calls with when Laura, his girlfriend's over. I can't remember what he asks then, but he has another good one then. Because it's like Jimbo Jones or something.
Oh, yeah, well, right. He does use Jimbo.
But that's not it. Those are, I think, those off the top. I think that's.
That was good. That was like 7.
There's another couple. There's another a couple of, but I can't.
I also
think of
would have
them.
accepted Jock Strap,
Nice.
Amanda Hug and Kiss.
Yeah, Amanda Hug and Kiss. Amanda Hug and Kiss.
Ivana Tinkle.
Ivana Tinkle. Totally.
Alcoholic.
Everybody put their drinks down. I want Ivana Tinkle.
Ivana Tinkle.
I can think of the
And
setups.
Mike Crotch.
Alcoholic.
Mike
Yeah,
Crotch.
Mike Crotch.
I can't believe you got I'm a stupid moron with an ugly face and a big butt. My
Yeah.
butt smells and I like to kiss my own butt.
Yeah.
That was amazing, Corey. How about a hand for Corey? That was unbelievable.
I know too much about The Simpsons.
That was crazy, man. All right, please play me another song.
Play me another song.
This one's your choice.
Because oh really? Okay, because I haven't played all your requests.
I must tell you that you did just win this pint of blueberries.
yet. That's why that's been there the whole time.
Yeah, after your pride.
I was wondering about it.
I'm so sorry.
Didn't understand it.
What are you going to play for me?
What am I going to play for you?
Ooh,
I don't know.
that's pretty.
I don't know. Oh, I know what I'll play. It's a song called Bandage on a Broken Dream. And it was like the first song in the next grouping of songs that I wrote for like this album, where basically it was like the song that like set me off. Because usually it takes like a period of time for me to write songs or lyrics to music. Usually I write the music first and then the lyrics come after most of the time, but it also doesn't happen consistently all of the time. It's like I take long breaks and then only when I'm ready and sit and like convince myself to do it or get over the hump or like sit down and like just make an effort. So I was like watching a lot of the I guess it was the primaries in the 2020 election.
Okay.
And I was like, it was just like stuff was coming up on screen, and I was like, maybe I could use this for a song, and ended up like writing this song called "Bandage on a Broken Dream," which is basically about the American political system.
Nice.
So it's like, yeah, I was like, yeah, I can play with that.
Hit
It
it.
was in her face, so that's what this song is. Yeah. That's what it's called.
Michigan on the TV saw an ad for Applebee's with 25% reporting this could last until the morning. Every week another winner. Mississippi will deliver graying hair with a silver spoon. Projected another state of ruin. Tonight's key race is barely over. Look who's entering the ring. Exit polls from union voters. Keep the power with the king. Pink waves crashing on blue shoulders. Rising tides from sea to sea. Correspondents growing older in the light as they fight behind the scenes of a bandage on a broken dream. Total turnout all-time high in a town historically dry. Sober tones, wasted defeat. New blood flows beyond my reach. Cancelled rallies for the crowds. Only jokes and press allowed. Predictions rise and numbers fall. The tortoise tore through Arkansas. Tonight's key race is barely over. Look who's entering the ring. Exit polls from union voters. Keep the power with the king. Pink waves crashing on blue shoulders. Rising tides from sea to sea. Correspondents growing older in the light as they fight behind the scenes of a bandage on a broken dream. Hello, hello. Thank you.
Easily the prettiest song I've ever heard about election night.
I mean, I was hoping. I was like, I almost don't want to introduce the song sometimes because people are like, oh, great, here we go. An American political song. He's going to have so much to say.
Did he just say the word tortoise in a song?
Yeah, I did.
Nice.
Tortoise in the hair. Like tortoise tore through Arkansas.
Tore through Arkansas. I really like that
like, how
line,
could I not? Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful, dude. It's such a great song.
Because they're all so slow.
So is the American political system.
But that's what started me off, and then I slowed and I backed away a bit in terms of how, like, I was like, I'm gonna write songs that change the world. And I was like, okay, that's one song that probably is enough of a like on the nose, and I'll
write songs for myself again, maybe
It's
a bit.
incredibly on the nose.
It's a little, yeah, exactly.
You didn't hold back.
But at the same time, I was literally just watching TV and everything was just being fed to me. And I was like, yeah, oh, okay, yeah, like.
Well, that's a
In
lyric.
terms of like the pink waves, that's like the feminist movement, and then the conservative blue shoulders.
There
It was
was
like
so
waves
much
crashing on blue shoulders, rising tides, and it was just like everything was there. And it was
Yeah.
like, in terms of like climate change, I was like, oh, this is, oh yeah.
That's a song.
This is great. I was amused. I was like, this is a great song, but at the same time, I was like, nobody's gonna like the concept, maybe.
You captured it really well, though. I mean, it was such a strange time. Great job.
So most of the
Putting
time, I
into
just
a
don't
song.
introduce it. I just play it because the feeling is, the energy is up, and with the full band, it really has a lot more of an impact. And so it's like,
Oh, so you sneak it in.
Yeah,
No
totally.
intro.
No.
People don't even know that they're dancing to you reporting stats.
they don't even know where they are.
Yeah, this could last till morning.
Can I eat these blueberries?
Oh yeah, they're there for you. I didn't tell you until you won. You won them though, so you well deserve them. Thank you. I'm gonna say thank you for doing this. Thank you for coming and doing your first
Thank you.
podcast.
Exactly. No, thank you for inviting me. It's been a wonderful
man,
time.
Of course.
I am
Yeah.
a person who could talk forever and shouldn't. So,
I wanted to if we could do a
it's
6-hour episode,
yeah, exactly.
we would just cover the history of humanity. Maybe we should do that. We'll start our own podcast called The
Or a
History of
radio show,
Humanity.
maybe, or something like that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're right. Like the same thing, where it's like the both of us basically talking about something and then
Well, tell the
putting
local-
something worthy listening to in between us rambling.
Tell the Friar Hall or whatever to get us down
Fire
there.
department.
Yeah, the Friar Department. Tell them to bring us down to the Friar Hall, and we'll cut our hair like friars.
They have a varying array of hairstyles, to be honest. Some of them are like super curly blondes.
Nobody in the family has the Friar Tuck?
No,
Oh.
none of them are straight haired.
There's no Tuck Friar?
No, not yet. There should be.
Yeah, I'm going to put
Could
that
be
out
like
there.
grandson or
Somebody
granddaughter.
named their grandson Tuck Friar. Anyway, thank you. Thank you for doing this. This is what I was trying to get back to. I'm trying to think of anything I didn't cover. How can people find your music? Because you're not on Spotify like me.
Like we talked about, though I'm sure I eventually will get back on it. I think I was sort of testing the idea, not having my music available for a certain amount, because I wasn't, in terms of making money and streaming, I wasn't making money anywhere, so I was like, I might as well not support
Do you have a
these.
website?
Just Bandcamp. I've never, I don't know if, that's a funny thing where it's like I've never made the effort to make a website because I don't know if I want it or need it.
Right. Is there a website for your photography?
Which is probably, yes, there is.
What is it?
I think that just means I don't take my music seriously enough because I don't have a website.
No, I think. Oh, maybe, I guess.
Because
Yeah.
my music, but like my photography is my name, Corey J. Eisner. So I think I can have CoreyEisnerMusic.com. That probably wouldn't be hard to create. But I think
Yeah.
I also don't find myself having enough of an aura or something happening where it's like I need a website to devote to, like Bandcamp and
Right.
social media seem to supplement it for now.
You don't want the two to be intermingled?
No,
Your
they
music
could
and
be.
your-
I think I just imagine that I don't have an audience that would even visit the website. So I was like, I'm not going to pay for that.
Yeah.
I could, though. I could have a Squarespace website and have the cheap little version. But for the most part, I think I just tell people through social media. So it is a bit of a handicap. I am only using those outlets versus like I have a newsletter occasionally, but it only comes up whenever I have something that I actually want to tell people.
Okay. All right.
Just
Then I'll
fair.
link people to your several online identities.
But like you can find my music easily on Bandcamp or Apple Music,
you have
Amazon
like
Music,
9
Google
records
Play.
out on Bandcamp, don't you?
Yeah, well, two or three of them are like little Christmas singles, where it's like
Cool.
I've done that. Basically, once COVID hit, I was like, well, I can't really put an album together, but we tried doing like 2 songs per Christmas and recorded
Christmas
it at home.
songs. Yeah.
Original Christmas songs too, which is like also like almost like frowned upon, which I love.
No, but
I love that original Christmas music is
You
still
did a great
frowned upon.
job. You did, but you made it palatable again. Those
Yeah,
are
by
actually
also
great
ripping on
recordings.
music, which I love, and that was also the point of those
It
songs.
was tastefully done, man. Because I find myself only liking seriously novelty Christmas records, like the Ventures do
yeah,
Christmas or
yeah.
something. But those were tasteful.
And
Like,
once
they
I
didn't
was
feel
finished with it, I was
Christmassy.
like, are these better songs than my normal songs? And I thought and I kind of still think they were. Like, part of me is like, I'll never make any money off of my own music, but if I can sell this one Christmas song, and I think I could, that would be it. That's
If you
what
could
would
play
take
it
me.
in summer and people don't notice,
Yeah.
then
It's
you're
jazzy.
fine.
It's
Yeah.
jazzy.
Just take the Christmas bells off in the summer and then bring them out every winter. You'll be fine. I think that's it, though. I just wanted to cover everything. I'm trying to remember if there was anything.
Do you
I
have
totally
like
forgot.
sponsors you want to thank, or people that help you?
Fuck,
Your
no.
producers, your editors, your writers.
You
The team that you work
me,
with. Yeah,
me.
big team.
Me,
Big team.
and then you.
Yeah.
You,
But I
for
didn't
sure.
do anything. So
Tonight you did everything.
I drove all the way. It's
That's
true.
you drove a long way, and it might be.
I
flooding,
concentrated, and I have my car MVI'd, so I did that for you.
so. Just for me. You could have definitely.
No, I did it for the province,
safety
too.
On your, when Corey says MVI, that's a motor vehicle inspection.
Yeah,
and
for
they
everybody who
could
doesn't live in
inspect it
Nova
every 2
Scotia,
years.
like Ontario, where you just get to drive around willy-nilly.
But I guarantee
But you better have your 2 plates on your car, I guess, because otherwise...
80% of the cars in Nova Scotia do not have proper safeties. I guarantee you. I've seen crazy trucks.
You can make a business off of just passing vehicles that are certainly not road legal.
You have just
everybody knows a
into-
guy. Everybody
Yeah.
knows a guy who will
You
pass
just-
your car.
I don't want this podcast to be listened
It's what makes
to
me
by
think. I was
the-
like, wait, is
by
Russ
the
a fail?
authorities
Because
yet.
I look at so many cars being like, there's no way. It's
Rust
Russ to
is a
beyond
fail.
belief. It is a fail, but not according to half of the mechanics in Nova Scotia.
Depends on where it is.
Exactly. It
And
depends on how
on
deep you go.
It depends on whether they're wearing the glasses or not.
It's like
I
you
guess.
come out as like a new Disney princess with your MVI, but it's like you look the same. It's like,
Right, yeah.
It's like, what did you
They
do
just
out there?
updated the.
I'm a new MVI. Look at me.
They just recolored you.
That's
That's
not.
all.
That's not illegal. Yeah.
That's called the rust paint, black rust paint. That's okay. I'm gonna heckle you for one more song if that's cool.
This is how you're heckling me. This is when you
Very
request.
relaxed.
That's what you think heckling is? Requesting a song?
Yeah, but that's why it's friendly heckling.
You haven't booed me
hey,
yet.
I'm gonna heckle you right now if that's okay.
It's like,
Yeah.
it didn't come up on my Google calendar.
That's
So I don't think you are.
I want to hear. We talked about getting a little too drunk and then you needing to drink tea before. So I'd like to hear "The Long Way Home."
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, that doesn't involve tea.
No, but there's scenarios that would lead to tea.
Well, that was an old album, and it's like this album also has me being. So it's like each album has me being too drunk. There's one song about it, basically.
Absinthe and Smoke is still about you being too fucked up.
No, that one was fine. That was just me visiting. But the song on that album about being is the one you've just requested, "The Long Way Home." That's about like being wedding drunk, basically.
Wedding drunk.
Wedding drunk,
That's
camping
nice.
and camping overnight. But then this new one there's a song about me being drunk on my birthday and like passing out on a Zoom call,
Okay.
which you should do sometimes.
Well-
It's confusing.
Sure. Is it frozen?
It's
No,
not
he's asleep.
No, my confusion was that I was in my bedroom on the Zoom call and I woke up in my living room on the couch the next day and I was like, why would I leave my bed and my bedroom and then fall asleep in the living room?
Because there was people
I
in
passed
your
out on the
bedroom.
Zoom call. What did I do in between? That was like, you don't want to be in
no.
your bed. But my bed was clean. I didn't throw up in the bed, so it was me being like illogical, 100%.
Well, there was people in your room, so you had to
There's
leave.
no people in my room. It was a
Yeah,
Zoom
they were
call.
on a screen, but you were like, I can't close the
They
screen.
also
I gotta get
videotaped
outta
me
here.
like passing out on the Zoom call and
They
then
did?
sent it to me, so that's why it was very entertaining.
That's gold.
They're like-
And then you wrote a song about the whole experience.
That's how you conquer your exactly.
Now you have a music video and a song for it. So
Yeah, but I won't get real drunk again for the music video. But you're
No,
right.
the
It would
video's
make
already taken,
I'll
dude.
make fake drunk. But yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Oh, that video? No, we're
yeah.
not putting that up.
come on, Corey.
That's not appropriate for.
Come on.
That's when you see somebody, you're like, that's real drunk, and you're like, mm-mm.
You were Patrick Swayze drunk then.
I was like,
wow.
just
like
like.
eating a cheeseburger.
It's because I was mixing tequila with apple cider, and I was just like, and it was hard apple cider, so I was pouring tequila into hard apple cider.
That's amazing.
It's a fun birthday.
Remind me not to have your birthday.
That's a
with
COVID
you.
birthday. You're like, this could be my last birthday.
Yeah, I'm alone. Whatever.
I better drink.
I've never drank like this alone before.
But I do that less now.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. You've recovered.
I've learned.
I can tell. You look really healthy. For the podcast listeners, he's
Thank you.
smiling.
Yeah.
He's groomed. He's wearing a nice, clean shirt. Yeah, Corey's a good-looking, nice guy. So go
you.
look
Wow.
look this fella up.
Go look at him.
Go look at him. Go look at his photography, of which you've only done one self-portrait, really, haven't you?
I did some in university, but yeah, in terms of sharing it, it's very rare, and I never do it.
Well, go look up Corey's photos so that you can see the world through his eyes.
Yeah, please.
And yeah, anything you want to say to podcast listeners on your first podcast?
No, thank you for listening, if you did.
Hey, you've already critiqued the American political system, so you did a great job on a podcast.
And through song.
True.
I didn't even do it with my words.
Suck it, Ira Glass. You can't do that, can you? Just kidding. I
Yeah,
love you. Ira.
arguably. Yeah, exactly. Come on.
All right. Are you gonna play
I
me
do
out?
enjoy the idea of like, oh, there's another election next year. And I was like, if I can get the album out in time, it has the potential to actually be referential.
Oh,
So,
you could change the whole
see.
system, man.
I don't think that's going to
You could. If you
That would-
send it to Bernie, he'll burn a bunch of CDs in the Bernie way he does.
No, I don't want to bother him. He's done enough. He's tried so hard.
He's ready for you.
He's ready for
He
me.
needs a new thing. He needs Corey Isenor on his side.
That'd be nice. Yeah, that would be good. Play my music in the bathrooms at all the rallies.
In weddings.
At weddings.
The-
That's what I should do. I should advertise my music as wedding bathroom music.
This
and
is the
sell it to
perfect
people
song.
for free during their wedding music.
This is the perfect song then. This is the don't get too drunk at the wedding song.
Yeah, don't get too drunk at the wedding.
All right. Well, thank you, Corey Isenor.
I heard a cry this morning. I took it as a warning sign. Escaping voices outside in the sunshine. I move through quiet meadows. I dance where on the shadow falls. But even now at this hour, I feel small. Time won't bend another moment for my youth. Life won't render me in love without the proof. A song won't end when it is beginning, breaking out over the dawn. As I'm waking up on the lawn, singing the same old songs, and getting the words all wrong, making them up as I go, and taking the long way home. Even if I don't feel unhappy, I seek and find belonging while I reflect on the scenes performed. With every breath that I take, I'm reborn. A dozen limes and lemons, 1,000 lies and boundaries crossed. When we are young, we are free, and we are lost. Time won't bend another moment for my youth. Life won't render me in love without the proof. A song won't end when it is beginning, breaking out over the dawn. As I'm waking up on the lawn, singing the same old songs, and getting the words all wrong, making them up as I go, and taking the long way home. Even if I don't feel unhappy, but I'm in love. There's something beyond this trend. Oh, I don't know how it will end. this morning. I took it as a warning sign, escaping voices outside in the sunshine. Thank you very much. Thank you. Zakary Miller. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, what? What's happening?
You just got gifted a hat.
Wow, Broad Cove concert.
Broad
Wow.
Cove concert.
This is the other one.
Mary Beth Carty came all this way to
Wow,
give
that's
you
incredible.
a hat.
But is this your hat?
It's yours now.
No, I can't take your hat.
This is your outfit.
Wow.
Nice,
Look
nice.
at that.
Nice, but
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh.
I can wear this wherever I want now.
That's
Either
so
Broad
sweet.
Coves. I will not be attacked.
True.
Thank you
Is that
so
Broad Cove
much.
Cape Breton?
Pretty good. Yeah, this is definitely not the Broad Cove, Nova Scotia hat. They'll know it when I wear it, so I have to be careful. They're like, where'd you get that?
That's amazing. Oh, thank you, Mary
I have like a
Beth.
marker. Yeah, Nova Scotia.
Great job, Corey.
Thank you very much. Is this how you end it?
This is it.
Do you have like a jingle? Like, do-do-do-do-do, Zach?